Welcome back, folks. We have a lot of topics in the crime world to cover today. In Louisiana, a man stabs his ex to death and then lights himself on fire. Wild story coming out of Louisiana we're bringing you. A 14-year-old Illinois girl is killed with jumper cables. In Ohio, NFL quarterbacks' homes are getting robbed. This time, it's Deion Sanders' son, Shedur Sanders, the sixth NFL quarterback, incidentally, whose home has been robbed during a game. A little more news has come out in the Carnival Cruise case we brought you last week, where a teen was found dead. So we're bringing you an update on that. And a female door dasher is arrested after delivering food to a naked man and making a TikTok video on the scene. That's right.
Wow.
Can't get more interesting than that.
Yeah.
These stories and more coming at you today on Crime Wire Weekly. I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly Jennings.
KJ, we got a lot of crazy crimes today to talk about.
I know, but what's one thing that was released yesterday in the news that's got you going? I bet I know off the top of my head.
Epstein?
Yes. Dude. Those Epstein files.
The rest of those files. And, you know, I'm one of these people that I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, get ready.
Been working on that case for Exposed. You know, the most requested case, obviously, that type of show that talks about elite people getting away with shit. No more deserving than Epstein to get featured on that show. Yeah. I mean, he is the quintessential elitist who got away with a bunch of disgusting, horrible things. And so it's just overwhelming, and it's taken me a while to put this case together. I'm interested to see what comes out that I haven't learned yet.
You know, politically speaking, I don't want to go political, but politically speaking, if someone takes the forefront of this and just goes ham and starts knocking these people down and arresting them, you would make a name for yourself, because nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody is on board with anything that, you know, could have happened. I don't care who the celebrity is. I don't care how much you love them.
I don't even care if it's a celebrity.
No, but they get away with but they get away with stuff.
There's no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And the average layman doesn't. And so this is one of those things that it's been thrown in our faces that this has been done. There's no question that it's been done. And I'm just saying, I hope that they throw the hammer at these people.
Well, we'll see what happens. Right now, nobody knows what's in the redacted files. One thing I hope that they do is they do, these victims don't deserve to be blasted. These victims' families, they've been through enough. They don't need to be re-victimized, if you will. So
what would be
hopefully they'll keep those names out, and I think they will.
What would be neat if they said victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, and then we could at least follow the procedure of, okay, victim 3 was victimized, passed, through these hands and these people, and you can kind of see how horrific it was in its entirety. So
I agree. Well, look for that January 2026.
I'm waiting. I can't wait to listen to it.
A good one. All right, let's get into some crime for today, and we're going to start out in Louisiana. And the Baton Rouge Police Department says a 23-year-old woman has died due to a stabbing. This is on Old Hammond Highway in Baton Rouge. And the suspect then sets himself on fire afterward.
Because he's not crazy.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's about as, I can't think of a more horrible way to, and not that he didn't deserve to die in a horrible way. I mean, he just stabbed someone to death, but I can't think of a more horrible way than fire. Maybe drowning. Those are the two for me that, Yeah. Okay, so police said they responded around 2:13 a.m. to Stacy Charles, 23, lying in a parking lot on Old Hammond Highway. She had several stab wounds. She was taken to a hospital and she died during surgery. Officers also responded to a crash nearby at around the same time, and they determined that Stephen Heinrich Jr. was involved in both the crash and the stabbing. BRPD said that according to preliminary reports, Heinrich arrived at Charles' residence, began ramming his vehicle into her vehicle. He then removed her from the vehicle, stabbed her, and drove away. Now, while fleeing, he intentionally entered the oncoming lane of travel. That resulted in a head-on collision with another vehicle, just an innocent bystander, if you will. While in his vehicle after the crash, Heinrich sets himself on fire. He was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and he later died. BRPD also said that on November 5th, Charles, and that's the victim, contacted police after a battery that resulted in Heinrich's arrest. He then posted get this, $2,500 bail.
Yeah.
So you post 12% of that or something? 10, whatever it is. I thought it was 12. I'm going to have, if we had a young Jamie, I'd tell him to fact check that. I think it's 12.
What type of bond was it?
It just says bail for battery of a dating partner. But anyway, regardless, 10 or 12, you're still talking about what, a couple hundred bucks?
Basically
$250.
Yeah.
Of a dating partner, and he was served a protective order within 24 hours of arrest. Police said he also had, get ready for this.
I know.
6 out-of-state protective orders from various women.
From different
women. You reckon he had a problem?
I know.
Court records showed that Charles filed a restraining order on October 6th of 2025 to prevent Heinrich from going near Charles' worker school. In those records, Charles alleged that Heinrich stalked her, punched her, and threatened her life all over the past year. In those records, Charles also said Heinrich created a fake number, put her family, friends, and employer in a group chat, and sent inappropriate pictures. She said for the past 2 months, he created fake numbers and social media accounts to harass not only her, but her family. The order was dismissed after the victim did not appear for the hearing, Charles. So that's got to be the most unbelievable story we've covered in a while.
Yeah, and not that looks matter at all, but I just want to tell you she's absolutely beautiful, and I wish she would have known her worth. You know, that she didn't have to put up with this shit from this little dude.
Well, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay.
No, I get in trouble for interrupt. People get mad at me.
Oh, well.
So you finish your thought, and then I'll comment on it.
Well, this is the thing, too. Okay, so there's a timeline of events here that November 4th of 25 at 9 p.m., he's arrested, accused of beating her. Then the very next day at 9:40 a.m. is whenever the district attorney's office contacted her, and she denied the prior incidents of abuse and did not mention the stalking. But hear me out. If she's afraid of him, this is common in domestic abuse victims in that they don't want to say anything that might amp up or get that person mad, and then especially if they're already hurting them, you know. And I'm inclined to believe he was, because he was beating other women across the country, basically. Then at 1 p.m. that same day, Commissioner Kimball set the bond at $2,500, and the district attorney's office did advise the court of the prior cases in New York and his prior convictions, so the court knew. So this is a huge blunder that I think they're going to have to, you know, this cost someone their life. Amen. And they're going to have to answer to that in some fashion. Then the next day, on November 6th at 4:30 p.m., is whenever the sheriff's office initiated the release paperwork for him, and that followed the bond that was set by the commissioner. Then November 6th at 4:39 p.m., that's whenever New York authorities entered their warrant and extradition hold on him in NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center. So there was a hold that he should, even if he were to be released, if he were allowed legally to be released, they still had to hold him and retain him so New York could take him, bring him back, and he could be held accountable there. But
well, there's a major screw up.
Yeah. So at 6:29 p.m. on November the 6th, the hold warrant was officially in NCIC. Then at 11:03 p.m., Heinrich was released from the prison. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they had basically a 5-hour. So I don't know. I'm just erring on the side of, you know, reality here. I don't know if maybe they started the paperwork before that warrant was entered, because it does seem to be entered late. But I don't know what timelines are. on that. So at November 6th, 11 p.m. is whenever he's released. November 7th at 9 a.m. is whenever BRPD did the welfare check. And then on November 13th is whenever she is stabbed to death at 2 a.m. So very quickly, he turned around and ended her life.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
And, it's proof positive. And there were so many questions. I got so many questions on this that we're not going to have answers to today.
Right.
There was a lot of screw ups, quite frankly, in this that had they not happened, this beautiful young lady would still be alive today. But all of that being said, it's also proof positive that all these restraining orders is a piece of paper at the end of the day.
It's reactive.
They're a paper trail.
Yeah.
If someone means to do harm, this guy was a sick, fucked up asshole guy, and a piece of paper was not going to stop him from doing what he wanted to do. And in most of these cases of domestic violence, and I'm only saying this so people know, you can't rely on that.
No, that's just a formality.
These guys don't. That's a formality. So for a prosecution later on.
Yeah.
Well, if she gets put in the hospital, then we've got a paper trail of he's been doing this over and over again.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, other states, and Louisiana is actually getting on board with this from what I understand. I haven't researched it in depth yet, but I spoke to someone about this in the past. But other states created databases that are free for the public, females, men, whoever. You can go in and search people that you are interested in or you might date to see. It's basically a domestic violence database. You can put someone's name in and see, have they been convicted for domestic violence in the past? So you can see these patterns because they don't stop, y'all. It just increases, obviously, in severity. And so women specifically, we're more likely to be the abuse victims, not always, but we're more likely. You got to take it upon yourself, and I'm not victim blaming here, but we've got to teach our young girls. You don't have to take this shit from somebody, number one. Number two, there are outlets that you could protect yourself before it gets started. And these are examples of it. Thank God for someone who came up with that idea that we could have a database to research.
Yeah.
And please speak out. Please say something if this is happening to you. There's no shame in being a victim at this level.
And she did speak out. I mean, she went. She filed the paperwork. She told them what was going on. And still, sadly, ended up this way.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have updates on it. Just a horrible, tragic situation.
Yeah. Prayers out to her family and to her friends because just a devastating way to go.
Amen.
That's awful. All right, let's move it on to Illinois, where an Illinois man with a reportedly long criminal history was arrested after authorities alleged he sexually assaulted and killed a teenage girl. Kylie Toberman, she was only 14 years old. She was found dead in a tote bag inside an RV behind her family home in Illinois on Friday, November 14th, 8 hours after local police put out a missing persons alert. Prosecutors said that Arnold Rivera, identified by the family as Toberman's step-uncle who had been living in the RV, is accused of sexually assaulting Toberman in a car before allegedly strangling her with jumper cables. Rivera, 43 years old, was arrested and charged by prosecutors with first-degree murder, criminal sexual assault, and concealing a homicidal death. Rivera has a long criminal history dating back to 2000 when he pled guilty to felony aggravated battery after prosecutors dismissed child sexual abuse charges against him. He was also convicted of possession of a stolen car in 2008. He was sentenced to probation for both crimes. And this chaps my ass because this is what we keep seeing over and over again in our country. Rivera will now remain behind bars in pretrial detention in Fayette County Jail after a judge denied his release. Loved ones have created a GoFundMe campaign to help Toberman's family with legal and funeral expenses. Kylie was known for her caring heart and the way she made everyone around her feel included. She was a loyal friend, a devoted sister, and someone who could brighten any room simply by being in it. Toberman was also on the wrestling team at Vandalia, I believe is how you would say that, Vandalia Junior High School, which released a statement on social media in the wake of her death. Please join us in keeping the student's family and loved ones in your thoughts and prayers during this tragic and painful time, the school said. We will lean on one another as we care for our students and for each other.
Horrible tragedy. And, there's not much we can commentate on that. I mean, it's terrible. It happens.
Is it a tragedy or is this allowed in the making in what goes on here? Was this allowed in some facet? Because when you give people chance after chance after chance, and then a little girl ends up dead, I know the courts can't be held responsible for his specific actions. I get that.
No.
But at what point are we going to... You dismissed sexual child abuse charges against him back in 2000.
Yeah.
And now a 14-year-old girl is dead.
No doubt. Similar to the first case that we covered, where there's all these other women. There's this long paper trail, another situation of that, and tragedy occurs.
When people show you
what is a step uncle? I can't even figure out how someone becomes a step uncle.
Well, her stepdad's brother, maybe. So they're saying step uncle, maybe.
I got you. Yeah, you're probably right.
A good friend, this is totally off subject real quick, but it made me think of it yesterday. A student of mine that I love and adore is going through cancer treatment right now. Anyway, he was raised by his uncle his whole life. Well, he's now a grandpa because my student had a kid. And his name for the grandchild is Up, U-P. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Up. And then it hit me, Uncle Pawpaw. Because he's not the pawpaw, he's the uncle. So the baby calls him Up.
Oh, my goodness.
I love it. I thought it was cute. But anyway, on this one, I'm looking, look, when people tell you who they are or show you who they are, believe them. And that's a problem we have, I think, with people that we trust or that we love or people in our family. Just because they're family doesn't mean you need to let them live in your backyard in an RV, especially when they've already been accused of sexual assault. And then, God.
And you have a 14-year-old there.
Yeah.
That's the disturbing thing. It's not like these were two adults just helping this guy out.
Right.
They had a child there.
And he strangled her.
Talk about bad
with
decisions.
Jumper cables. This guy's brutal. And I would bet there's more that he's never even been caught for. You don't just jump to that, you know?
All right. Well, let's go to Florida, and we're going to give you an update on the Anna Kepner case. Of course, this was a case we covered last week. She died aboard a Carnival Horizon cruise ship earlier this month. It's come out that she was found dead under a bed, wrapped in a blanket and covered by life vest. That, according to a security source who was briefed on the investigation. So Anna Kepner was an 18-year-old cheerleader. She was from Titus, Florida, and she was reported dead while aboard that Carnival Horizon cruise ship on November 8th. The Miami-Dade medical examiner, strangely, this is very rare that I see this. He has not specified a cause or manner of death. And we'll talk more about that in a second. Among the avenues investigators are looking at is whether there might have been some sort of altercation with her stepbrother prior to her death. The source told ABC News that investigators are looking at other possibilities, including a medical emergency or an overdose. So you go from, you have three totally different manners of death here that you're looking into. So before I go any further, I want to say I see a lot of people talking about the stepbrother. Maybe he had something to do with it. Maybe he didn't. But it sounds to me like they don't even know if she was murdered or if she overdosed.
Why didn't they just say pending?
Somebody knows.
Why didn't they just say pending toxicology? That's weird.
Yeah. Well, investigators are poring over security records on the ship, including security surveillance footage and access card swipes to get a picture of who was where at the various times prior to her death. A court filing in an unrelated family court matter noted that Kepner's step-sibling could face charges. Mm-hmm. The filing said the FBI is conducting an investigation arising out of the sudden death of Anna Kepner. Chantel Hudson, who is Kepner's stepmother, was also on that cruise along with her children and Kepner's father, and she requested a delay in her custody hearing because one of her minor children may face criminal charges, that meaning the stepbrother. Yeah. So the FBI in all of this has declined to comment. They haven't even said how this young lady, was she stabbed to death? Did she overdose? They haven't said any of that. Carnival Cruise Line said in a statement after Kepner's death, our focus is on supporting the family of our guest and cooperating with the FBI. And let me say this. I'm not saying, I understand there's investigations that you have to have. I understand that completely, and you want as little information to get out as possible. But the problem is you have a lot of people out there and they are hypothesizing, but they're speaking to this as if it's fact. Yeah. With that, the stepbrother thing, which may turn out to be true, But the stepbrother thing is being ran with by a lot of these TikTok creators.
Yeah.
The stepbrother did it. Stepbrother did it. He may have had nothing. It sounds to me like they're investigating all kinds of things. He may have had something to do with it, but I would caution people to not accuse somebody of that without the police at least saying they're looking. They haven't even come out saying they're looking at anybody.
This almost,
at least as of this recording.
And this is where I try to be very careful, because I think about the JonBenet Ramsey case in this event, and her brother has taken heat for his entire life that people have just run with it. Oh, Bert killed her. Yeah, there's no evidence of that. There's nothing that would, other than speculation. So now here we've got this stepbrother who people are speculating may have done something to her. And if he didn't, people who know them, we don't know them, but people who know them, you can't unring that bell.
Right.
You can't undo that. And that would and what if he didn't? I mean, he may have, but what if he didn't?
Right. And that's the whole problem.
Wow.
That's the whole problem, because he'll never shake that accusation.
So wherever this information was, I don't know if it was leaked or what, that the stepbrother may be facing charges. Okay, well then this should have been clarified more, in my opinion. The medical examiner should say that pending toxicology and the completion of the investigation, I'm going to withhold any of my results until we have a full view and complete investigation, rather than say undetermined. Yeah. Could be drugs, could be the brother. I mean, shit, it could have been Satan. We don't, you're just throwing us in all different directions. And I don't know. That should have been curated better for the public.
Yeah, because they're going to start theorizing.
Right.
It's just human nature.
All right, let's move on to Ohio. The home of the Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedur Sanders was broken into while he was making his league debut at the team's Sunday game against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, sources close to the situation confirmed that Sanders' home was broken into on Sunday, November 16th, while he was at the Huntington Bank Field in Cleveland. It's unknown if anything was stolen, and Cleveland.com reports that no suspects have been named. Sanders is at least the sixth NFL player to have his home broken into while he was playing a game. And I know, right? And more than a dozen athletes across professional sports leagues in the U.S. have had their homes burglarized in recent months. Last year, there was a string of burglaries at the home of players, including Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow. And
what? Joe Burrow?
Y'all better leave Joe alone.
Y'all better leave Joe alone.
Back up off Joe.
That's our boy.
And Saints defensive end Cam Jordan's home was broken into in October of 2025. Then in November of 2024, the NFL issued a memo to its team security directors and the players' union warning about organized criminals targeting the homes of professional athletes. The memo informed recipients of the perpetrator's strategy in finding targets and suggested that players employ increased privacy measures like waiting to post on social media until after they've left a location and installing advanced security systems. A source close to the situation told the NFL that at the time that the transnational crime ring was quote unquote focused on NBA and NFL players for about 3 weeks. In February, 7 Chilean nationals were charged with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property in connection with several of the burglaries. According to the complaint, the individuals were allegedly part of a group that targeted high-profile athletes in both the National Football League and the National Basketball League, and they would often burglarize the athletes' homes while they were away or playing in professional games, which were often listed online. The U.S. Attorney's Office alleged that 7 individuals stole valuables worth over $2 million.
Oh, yeah. And I know in Joe Burrow's case, they got over $1 million worth of stuff out of his house. And he had, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he had security posted at the front gate, and they somehow got around it and got around the cameras. Wow. These dudes are experts. These are like jewel thieves, man. This is not Fred down the street figuring out you're playing in Dallas today and say he's going to go rob your house. These guys are pros at what they're doing. And the fact that every player that has been burglarized thus far, it was when they were playing an away game. So certainly they're following the schedule, right?
Yeah, and I'm impressed that there have been no children or wives at home during any of these burglaries, or if there were,
they may be picking all these. Well, wives are going to go to the game, right?
Yeah, well, not always. I mean,
look, Travis Kelce wife at every game.
Oh my God,
she is.
Whatever.
She loves her.
She ain't got no damn kids, and they ain't married. Are they married yet?
Yeah, they're married.
Well, excuse me. I'm not up to date on the Swift.
Somebody's going to come at me and be like, I ain't married yet.
Jim's a Swiftie.
I am not a Swiftie.
Jim's a Swiftie.
I can't stand no Swiftie. But I will say this, and you're right, but it seems like I know Joe Burrow's not married and is not in a relationship and has no kids.
He doesn't have a girlfriend?
Not that I'm aware of. I watched on Netflix. He did a great series.
Well,
and there was no girl.
If he wants to be a brother husband, I can talk to Blake.
He can get a girl anytime he wants. I can promise you, that's one guy that could pretty much date any girl he wants.
Joe's got
single
the
and ready to mingle.
Swag, bro. I love
He does.
Joe.
He's got options. Let's just say that.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if these guys have families, and that'd be something to look into because maybe they're specifically choosing bachelors that don't have families or don't have kids. I have a hard time believing Cam doesn't
have a girl either. I mean, he's handsome. But either way.
I mean, all these guys. Shedur Sanders is no slouch guy. I mean, son of Dion. And,
Dion, I like Dion. Do you like Dion?
I like Dion.
I do too.
I think he's got a lot of swag.
Yeah, he's got something to him that makes you just want to listen. He's a good coach. But hey, please don't break into their houses and steal their stuff if you're listening. Chilean National Theft Ring.
Right. Well, they're getting away with it thus far.
Do you remember the "Leave Britney Alone" thing that went viral years ago? Leave Britney alone.
I don't.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a new one. Leave Joe alone.
All right, let's go into Florida.
Okay.
First time we've been to Florida today, I believe. Might be a record.
I know.
We're going to talk about this case is going to blow your mind. So authorities in Florida have arrested a man in connection with the killing of a British woman who allegedly traveled to America to be sexually assaulted and murdered. Yeah, y'all to see Kelly's face just now, y'all. It was like, what?
Not a fan of that.
Investigators received a report regarding a woman after she missed her flight back to the UK. An arrest warrant identifies her as Sonia Exelby. She is from Portsmouth, England. Within days, Exelby's remains were found in Marion Oaks, Florida. She died from an apparent homicide. A guy by the name of Dwayne Hall, who was 53, was arrested Monday, November 17th by officials from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. In writings allegedly left on her computer, Exelby indicated she was suicidal and traveling to the United States to be sexually abused, tortured, and possibly murdered. She allegedly connected with various people in the U.S. in furtherance of her apparent mission. British investigators also found evidence of a suicide letter she wrote where she anticipated being, quote, mutilated and disabled for the rest of my life in the event that she managed to get to him, meaning this guy. Authorities identified Hall as a suspect after tracing him to an account that allegedly attempted to transfer money from Exelby's bank account several times since October 11th when they first met up. During a voluntary interview on October 17th, Hall allegedly gave several inconsistent accounts about his interaction with Exelby, initially claiming he did not know her before eventually admitting that he had sex with her several times and discussed her bondage, suicide, and desire to have someone kill her. Hall also allegedly said if he had to help her, he would bring Exelby to Alligator Alley, where the wildlife, quote, would have taken care of her. He declined to answer when asked if he killed Exelby, but said, quote, she's happy now because she got what she wanted. He was charged with fraudulent use of a credit card and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. At the time of his arrest this week, Hall was behind bars on those charges. However, in the arrest affidavit for Hall's murder charges, authorities claim Exelby appeared to have her doubts last minute and reached out to a friend via Discord, alleging a man who she did not name was holding her against her will. Quote, he made it clear there was no way out unless I shoot him. I was questioning it last night. I can't kill anyone, she wrote in part of the message, later adding she was made to record 3 disclaimer messages and write a letter to her family because he thought it was funny. In a cell phone video reviewed by police, Hall is allegedly seen prompting Exelby to answer questions such as how she wanted to die. Even though Exelby her answers seemed to express her consent, she hesitates before answering several of the questions on the video. On social media, a loved one of Exelby stated in an October 16th post that she's vulnerable and really struggling with her mental health. And, quote, we believe she has arranged to meet someone in Tallahassee, Florida, and has gotten herself into an extremely vulnerable situation. Hall is currently charged with murder and kidnapping in addition to previous fraud charges against him, and he has pleaded not guilty to all 4 charges.
Okay, well, I don't care if she did write a letter. I don't care if she had it notarized saying, kill me. He still can't do that.
That's right.
He should have the decency of mind to know that this is wrong and improper. But no, he's a sadistic and he wanted to do it. But he just thought that writing a letter and of approval is going to allow. Like, are you ridiculous? Yes, you're absolutely stupid. Which it sounds juvenile to say that. But like, did you really think that's going to work? Did you really?
And she's obviously very mental, her mental health
suffering.
Is really suffering to even attempt something like that. And they allegedly met on some sort of fetish website that's very popular.
Yeah.
Apparently, I can't even remember the name of it. I saw it in an article, but somebody out there has probably heard of it. Well, but that's where they met. They started chatting like 2 years prior to them actually meeting in person, from what I understand.
And he looks like every convict in an old cowboy
he's exactly
movie.
what you picture.
Yeah, she looks
Hannibal
like she's got
long hair.
She's got like an Adele thing going on. She kind of looks.
She's beautiful.
I know that there's people on those fetish sites. Like I saw a crime before too, where they were called bug chasers or something, and it's where men would go and they wanted to be infected with HIV or something. It was supposed to be like an erotic experience. So I'm wondering if this was eroticism gone totally like fantasy, and then when she realized, oh shit, like. This isn't fun. This isn't fun anymore.
He's really going to
kill me if she's like,
well, we'll never know, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we do know.
True thoughts.
Yeah.
But
she didn't deserve that. I don't care what she says. We're in a country where we should be smart enough to know that if someone says, I want to die, that goes against everything internal, everything about us, just humanistic nature is survival. So
I'm sure he knew.
Yeah.
That's why he was going to that's why he tried to hide the crime, didn't. I mean, he knew it was wrong. He's trying to justify it now that, he was being she had a terminal illness and he was being a suicide doctor.
Dr. Kevorkian.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's disgusting and sick, and I hope he gets everything he deserves. Mm-hmm. I hope he goes to Alligator Alley.
Chomp, chomp. All right, now let's go to Texas. You want to talk about
Tejas.
You want to talk about piss some people off. I wasn't even there, and this aggravates me. Hey everyone, Crime Wire Weekly has moved to its own new channel.
We hope you've enjoyed this preview. To continue listening, please follow the link referenced in the description of this podcast.
Or simply search Crime Wire Weekly wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to follow the show so you can be alerted when new episodes drop.
Thanks for listening.